You can make a lot more money than you're currently making. And in your heart, you know that it's true. But for whatever reason, you're not doing it. And the reason you're not doing it is because there's something blocking you. And I'm sure you've probably heard, if you've been around marketing and sales, people that have resistance towards selling, people might say if somebody had a gun to the head of somebody that you love, would you sell more? Would you market more? And it's not even a question. If you love somebody and all you have to do is just market and your life is not in danger or jeopardy in any kind of way, and you could do something to save somebody's life and your life is not in jeopardy and it's somebody you love, you're going to do it. And so even with that statement, and if you agree with that statement, that's evidence that you could be making more money and you're not. However, I will say this, it is not your fault. The reason why you're not making more money than you currently are is because of money blocks. And without going into too much detail, I want to share with you 4 habits to truly remove the money blocks that are, not even could be, but that are keeping you from the next level of finances that maybe you desire, maybe you even deserve, but a part of you don't even see that it's even possible for you. So I want to share these 4 habits that if you do these 4 things, it will not only increase your income, but it will also up level every area and aspect of your life and even the people around him. And I know that's a bold statement, but challenge me on it. So the first habit that's really important for any of us to change is our language. We don't really understand how much our language influences our thoughts, and our thoughts influences our actions, and our actions influence the things that we say, and it becomes a cycle. But so much starts with language. You think about this, even when we think about movies, there's so many like programming that's taking place in movies. What do we call people that are like really, really wealthy? We call them filthy rich. I don't know where you're from, but filthy is not a positive term. Filthy is something like that's dirty, nasty, something that we don't want. And so even when we talk about somebody being filthy rich, that is communicating to our unconscious mind that that's something that we don't want. We don't want that because of how we even speak of it when we're referring to somebody else who has it. And sometimes, it's not about what you say, but it's how you say it. And so often we use a tone that's almost demeaning, if you will. So it's almost like we demean and we demonize people that actually have wealth because of how we even speak about them. But I'll say this, sometimes we don't even go to that extent. There could be something that we want to buy and we say, I can't afford it. When you think about that, even saying I can't afford it, when you say I can't afford it, your unconscious mind stops looking for ways for you to be able to afford it. Because when you say I can't afford it, your unconscious mind immediately shuts down and disagrees with you because it's a slave to whatever you tell it to do. And so when you say I can't afford it, then it cuts off all creativity and all possibility of you being able to afford it. So I want to challenge you and cause you to just pay attention to your language. And so instead of saying I can't afford it, if you feel like it's something that's overpriced, say this is overpriced. Because here's the difference. When you say I can't afford it, that means that there is a limitation in the financial accessibility that you have. But when you say it's overpriced, that means there's just a disagreement in the evaluation. And you don't think that what they're valuing is worth the value that you want to pay. But that doesn't mean that you can't afford it if you don't want to. So when you rephrase I can't afford it with that's overpriced, your unconscious mind now looks for different ways to cause that evaluation to be more in alignment with what you want, but it does not stop looking for ways for you be able to pay for it, if you will. And it's not thinking about lack or poverty or just shutting down and not looking at things. But that's something I really want to challenge you to do is pay attention to your language and pay attention to the language of others. Because so often when we watch different like superhero movies and things like that, the villain is somebody who's an entrepreneur, they're rich, and they're evil. So many different movies. And challenge me on that. Like, look for yourself. But so often we're programmed without even realizing it. But our language is one of those crucial things that we must change to truly get to where we desire to be and really get rid of these money blocks. Listen, if you have a high ticket offer, I want to show you how to turn your high ticket offer into residual income and get paid for life. Think about this. This is not like anything you've ever heard before. When it comes to high ticket offer, you have something that can actually serve people. How would you like to be served on the other side and get paid for life? So here's the thing. I want to show you exactly how to do that in this live presentation that I'm doing. And I want to encourage you to sign up now where you're thinking about it, because again, if you're thinking about like, man, I would love to get paid for life from my high ticket offer and get paid residual income, this is for you. Right now, go to residualincomedaily.com and you can sign up for the live presentation, and you will hear all about all of the ins and outs. Ask me any question you want to, and I'll show you exactly how I'm doing it, and more importantly, how you can do it too. Now back to the video. The second habit that I want to encourage you to truly like implement into your life is I want you to determine and come up with 3 arguments as to why the world is a better place if you have more money. Why do I say arguments? When I say arguments, when we argue against something, that means that we have a conviction about it, we have a boldness about it, we have a belief about it, like this is the hill that we're willing to die on about it. When we're arguing, we look for evidence, we look for references, we look for ammunition to prove our point. And so when you argue that the world would be a better place if you had more money, then that means you're going to look for evidence and references to support your argument. Because a lot of times, even in arguments, we can be wrong, but we still look for ways to be right, because most of us would rather be right than be happy. And that's a whole other conversation for a different day. But again, when it relates to arguments, when you come up with an argument, your unconscious mind and your entire situation is more likely to position itself to yield to whatever you are arguing about. And so how you can even start this, and I encourage you to write it down, how you can even start this argument is, the world is a better place if I have more money because, and then you just add on to the because, but 3 times, 3 different arguments. And when you write from this perspective, you're going to start to believe it more, and it's going to seep into you, and it's something that you're going to embody, and you're going to believe it from a totally different level. But I promise you, when you play full out, you write this and you come up with 3 arguments why the world is a better place because you have money. Not only are you going to look for ways, but you're going to start attracting ways where you can like have more money, because again, we all understand that the world, it's profitable for all of us for the world to be a better place. So I want you to have more money, because if the world can be a better place if you have more money, man, by all means, I want you to have it, and so do so many other people. And this is something that I want you to look for evidence to prove that to be true. Now, the third habit is to immerse yourself in money conversations. Now, this could be hopefully people that you know, where you can have conversations about money, or you can just listen in on people that have conversations about money, whether it's a podcast, a book, audio program of some sort. And I want you to think about this. When it comes to cold water, when you just immerse yourself in cold water and you don't just tiptoe in it, after a while, it's not as cold as it was when you just initially just dip your toe in it or dip your finger in it or just get a little ways in. But when you just fully immerse yourself in it, then you start to just adjust to the water, and your body starts to adjust to the water. And it's the same thing with money. Money is such a taboo topic, especially when it comes to certain families, certain situations, and certain settings. And when you just immerse yourself in the conversations, it starts to become more normal. And especially when we start normalizing wealth and getting rich, and not associating that people that have a lot of money are evil or dangerous, we need to normalize positivity, because the world, as we agreed, and I agree with you, that the world is going to be a better place when you have money. And so when we immerse ourselves in these conversations, then we start to become more comfortable with the thought of having money. Because if you don't become more comfortable with the thought of having money, then you're never going to be comfortable with the reality of having money. So you have to be comfortable with the thought of having money before you can be comfortable with the reality of having money. Because so often when people think about money, the first thing that they do is how to get rid of it. Because when people have a lot of money, there's so many negative thoughts associated with having money. This person is not going to like me, or I won't have enough to give all of my family money or all of my friends money. And if I don't give this person the same amount I give this person, then, I'm going to have enemies. And so in order for me to keep all of my family and all of the people around me happy, I'm just going to be broke like everybody else. And so often we justify that unconsciously. It's not even something that we think about consciously, but money has a lot of deep-rooted negative associations that are not true. They're just made up, and it's like they're right or wrong in the mind of those who ever possess it. But again, if you don't become more comfortable with the thought of having money, you'll never be comfortable with the reality of having money. And people that are not comfortable with the reality of having money, they will find some kind of way to sabotage their situation to never have it because they're not comfortable having it. Now, here's the fourth and final habit that I really want you to play full out on. And again, I want you to play full out on all of these. This fourth one, typically people say they'll do more good in the world, they'll help more money when or if. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to find 3 people that when you have millions of dollars or a lot of money or you're super wealthy, whatever like abundance is to you, when you have that number, who are the 3 people that you would help and do something phenomenal for? Now write down those 3 people. Now here's the fourth thing that I want to challenge you to do. Even though you might not have the money in your possession right now, I want you to find something that you can do nice for those 3 people that you determine, even right now in your current financial situation. Why do I want you to do that? I want you to do that because I want you to start practicing what it feels like and what you would do if you had the money and when you have the money. Because people don't realize that the greatest form of faith is preparation. When you determine who you're going to do something phenomenal for when you get the money, but then you do something great for them even before you get the money, then that's just preparation for when the money comes. You're just going to do something that much greater for those people, but you're already starting off where you are right now. Because so often we don't realize that if we take one step, somehow 2 steps of progress is given to us. But so often we don't take that one step because either we don't see it, it's not in our reality, or we don't think that it's possible for us. And so when you start to truly condition yourself to act as if, then the if will come based on the actions that you take. Because again, faith, the greatest form of faith is preparation. And the more that you are comfortable with having money in your imagination and in your mind, the more comfortable you're going to be with having money in your reality. And the more you're going to have a much more profitable and beneficial relationship with money that so many people aspire to. And rarely does anybody get to it because of the financial trauma that we see all around us, just based on how people, interact with money and flow with money and debt and how they look at people with money and what they do when they have it. I want you to have a much different experience. And so if you've gotten any value from this video at all, I want to encourage you to share this with 3 people that you know if they had more money and when. And let's do this. Let's not say if, let's say when, because I'm determining that you are going to have more money regardless of how much money you have right now, because you and I both are on the same page. We want this world to be a better place. And I agree that the world is going to be better based on that second habit of you having more money, because the world's gonna be a better place if you have more money. Because, so again, make sure that you determine what those 3 arguments are and share this video with 3 other people who you think can benefit from these 4 habits to truly unlock the money blocks that could be blocking them, so that they can do more good in the world. You guys can do more good together, and we can actually experience a level of happiness and joy that our world is in desperate need of.